Hello, Aural Skills. I hope everybody's doing well. It's Ms. Cary here to talk to you about minor scales. So first, I'm going to go over the module with you, and then I'm going to show you how to change a major scale to a minor scale, to a melodic minor, to a harmonic minor, to a natural minor, and what are the different intervals that makes the scales change. And then it'll be a lot easier for you to hear which scale is which. So I'm going to get out of the way and go over the module with you. Here we go. So Module 4. In Module 3, we learned about the major scale in Western music, which is classical music or music written on the staff. Another commonly used scale is the minor scale. There are 3 forms of the minor scale. The natural minor, and I've alluded to this before when we talked about modes briefly. The natural minor, if you have a scale, and let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, you go down to the 6, you go down 3 from 1, 1, 7, 6, going down, using the same notes, the same key signature, and you play 8 notes starting on that 6, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's the natural minor scale. That's the easiest one to find because it's within the major scale. Okay, the harmonic minor scale. When you're writing music in the minor modes, you kind of miss that 7, 8, that half step. It gives a finality to the end of the scale because the tension between 7 and 8 is so strong. A minor second, very strong pull. So they started writing songs, melodies in minor keys, but they raised the 7 to have that extra punch, and that's the harmonic scale. You just raise the 7 a half step. All right, so if we were in C major, take it down to number 6, A minor, that's the relative minor for C. Play our natural minor scale, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. To make it harmonic, you just raise that G to a G sharp. And then you have the half step. Okay, and then comes the melodic minor. And that is tweaked a little more. That's really a combination of the minor and the major. The first 5 notes are the natural minor, and then the last 3 follow how the major scale would go. So you raise the 6th and the 7th. And when I mean last 3, I mean up to 8, which is really 1. So melodic minor, you raise the 6th and 7th, and that sounds a lot like the major. So it's the melodic minor, I feel like, is half major, half minor. What it sounds like to me, if that helps you. All 3 forms of the minor scale are commonly used in Western music. And they all are related to the major scale through the natural minor, the relative minor. All three scales share a similar characteristic which makes them minor. The interval between the third note of the scale and the first note of the scale is a minor third, as shown here. So that's really when you hear the difference. So I'll just show you with the first three notes. Here's my flute. It's a major scale. I think this is cool to see. When it's all its natural fundamental, all the holes are down. There's no hole on the bottom. And then you raise the holes are spaced to sound like a major scale. Sounds like this. So what I was going to show you, major 3. Oops. To make a minor third, you lower that a half step. So this flute doesn't have a note in between, so what I do is I do half the hole, and it shortens it to the middle of this hole. I showed you the wrong hole, is this one. As opposed to. So I feel like the major third sounds bright and fruity, happy. That's what traditionally is known as happy or sad. But I feel like it's fruity and juicy, and the minor third is more dark sounding. Just sounds minor. I think you all can hear a minor third. So that's what makes the scale a minor scale. It has the minor third. 4 and 5 are going to be the same. So it's the same as the major. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Except the 3 is flattened a half step. That makes it minor. First 5 notes minor. Okay, going on. Compare this to the major scale, where the interval between the third note of the scale and the first note of the scale is a major third. So there it is. We had the E flat for the minor, and to make it major, it's an E natural. Even though the minor major scales are two different types of scales, they are also related. Every minor scale is related to a major scale. And every major scale is related to a minor scale. We use the term relative minor to describe the relationship between a minor scale and its related major scale. They're relatives. They share the same notes. You just start 3 notes below, and that gives you the minor third. In C, you go down to A, B, C. That's a minor third. So the scales can share the same notes, and that's why they're called relative minors. To find the relative minor for a scale, you could do one of the following. Find the 6th note of the major scale, and this will be the starting note of the relative minor. Or, I was doing this kind of both ways. I found the 6th note by going down the scale, like... Eight, 7, 6... Or you could start the bottom and go up. All right. And then these show you with notation how they're related. you take the first note of any scale, major scale, find number 6, that's its relative minor. So everything will be a third apart if you play them together. They're a third apart. Okay, and if you don't make any changes to any of the notes, it's the natural minor. Okay, the harmonic scale is the same as the natural minor scale with only one exception. In the harmonic minor scale, we raise the 7th note of the scale. So here we see an A natural minor scale and a harmonic scale. I think the natural minor is the page before. So here's the harmonic minor scale. Notice that the 7th scale degree is raised. So if we went down to A, we would have played all the notes that we would find in C, but when you get to 7, 8, raise that top note. Let's see if I can do that. So I'll find, here's the top, and go down to 6. So let's go up. So I did the half. Instead of going, which would have been the natural, I raised it a half. Oops. One more time. Okay. There you go. Harmonic. Same going up as coming down. There's Doug, my neighbor dog. Lastly, we come to our third form of the minor scale, the melodic minor scale. The melodic minor scale has an ascending form and a descending form. So, going up, as I mentioned before, you raise 6 and 7. And that's just like how it would be in the major scale of the same starting note. And coming down, you lower it back to the natural minor. So if you were using this composing when you had melodies ascending scale-wise, you would raise it. And when the melodies descended, you would have natural signs to put them back to normal. You would lower them a half step. So let's see if Miss Cary can play the melodic minor scale. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will be just like the minor. 6. Raise both of those, 6 and 7. Coming down, natural. Try that on your own instrument. Do it deliberately with intent. Don't guess. Use the module. Make sure you understand it all. Get it in there good. All right, what else do we need? Okay, 6th and 7th scale degrees raised when it's a melodic minor. When it's ascending and when it descends, the 6th and 7th are back to normal, lowered, back down a half step. The melodic minor scale descending is the same notes as the natural minor scale. So the melodic only makes a difference if you're going to ascend. Once you've gained the ability to identify the notes, play, sing, and hear the notes for all 3 forms of the minor scale, you will want to learn all the relative major and minor scales. And here's a table. So every major scale has a relative minor and every minor scale has a relative major. Now I play folk music often. If you go to a minor key for a moment, it'll be the relative minor. It sounds good. Okay. In musical notation, the same key signature is used for relative, major, and minor scales. For example, if we are in the key of B minor, we will use the same key signature as D major, because B minor is the relative minor of D major. That makes sense. It's another form of D major notes. So in A minor, what key signature do we use? C major key signature, because they are relatives. And here is every key with their key signature and their relative minors. The way this is written, for practicing, you just go from one line to the next without stopping. Practicing the major scales and the relative minors. That was the sharp keys. This is the flat keys. And they're giving them to you going around the circle of fifths. Notice that each notch around the circle of fifths, you add a sharp. And it gets to the point where it's easier to write it if you switch to flats. And they do that oh, no, they start over. They start with the flats. 1 flat, 2 flat, 3 flat. Okay. Think that's it. All right, so for your assignment, you need to write a melody, write it out in a major key. Whatever major key you choose, I want you to write the same melody in the minor key of the same note, not the relative minor. The same scale, you change it to make it a minor version of the melody song. Like, happy birthday to you, ba-da, da-da, happy birthday to, Can't find any thirds. Happy birthday is not a good example. Mary had a little lamb, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 3. So that would be major. I don't know what key it is. And to make that minor, I would make that a minor third. Mary had a little lamb. Mary had a little lamb. Mary had a little lamb. major, flatten it. All right, so I hope you can figure that out without too much trouble and that it's fun. Doesn't have to be a long melody. It can be a melody that everybody knows already. It can be Let It Be or something like that. And then you write it out in the minor, so you'll have to figure out which notes to change and stuff. All right, I hope this makes sense. Thanks for watching and happy listening, everybody. Good luck.